Thanks, everybody. Hello, welcome to Dangerous Policy, a channel aimed at intelligent people wanting to discuss important issues affecting life and society. My name is Crispin, and today we're going to talk about a milestone we've reached. So, yes, all these important issues that we normally talk about, we're going to take a slight break from that and just acknowledge the fact we've reached 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for those people. And for sticking with us. If you haven't subscribed already but do watch it regularly, I would encourage you to do so. That would be really great. It helps the channel out a lot. It is also a big milestone in the YouTube algorithms as well, because the way YouTube works, and we've done a lot of discovery of experience through this process, is that any video can be super popular if it hits the right kind of algorithm, the right zeitgeist. It appeals to a certain market that YouTube decides is underserved. But in order to get subscribers, that demonstrates that the channel is adding value to people, so much that they want to be a residual viewer covering the range of topics and will keep coming back again and again. So that is a much better indicator for YouTube that the video itself is appealing to people, not just, a clickbaity title or an attractive thumbnail, but actually the content is something that people are getting value from. So a great thank you for this milestone. Our first video came out less than 3 months ago. So we're just basically coming up to the 3-month mark now. We've released dozens of videos in that time, and it is extraordinary just the degree in which the production value has shifted over that time as well. In fact, we just ran in today over lunch someone who watches the podcast. They just happened to be randomly walking past and said hello. And they mentioned that. They said that, the difference between the early videos and the later videos has been immense. So a huge credit particularly to Charlene for making this sort of transformation. I now think that our audio, our lighting, the set design, all of that is of a good standard. Always make improvements. We'll continue. We've got all these endless ideas of making this, a better experience all of the time, and we'll continue to do that. But certainly, in just a short period of time, from basically no experience at all to where we are today, is just amazing to achieve in a 3-month period. I don't think I've ever done such a successful sprint in terms of the quality of a product. So thanks, big shout out to Charlene for that. And the fact that we now have 100, it's for just it seems like when you watch a YouTube video, most people have these channels that have 1 million subscribers or several 100,000 subscribers, and I can't tell you how challenging it is to actually get subscribers. It makes it look like it's easy because there are people that are doing it, but in fact it's not, and also but deeply gratifying that people, when they hit that subscribe button, are indicating that they actually have value, not only about that particular subject, but actually the creators as well. And that is the biggest compliment you can really give a YouTuber is to subscribe to their channel. So thanks again to those 100 people. I'll talk a little bit about what I've learned over that period of time. So the first thing I would say is that doing this is not easy. When I started this, I thought, look, I'll get the equipment and it'll be fine. We'll just plug it in and play, and it'll all fall into place. That is just so far from the reality of running a YouTube channel that I can't even believe my naivety. So the notion that you just get your USB mic and plug it in and start talking, and that you'll suddenly develop a successful program and a large following is not true. Now, having said that, absolutely, the content of what you're saying and what you're contributing and the value you're adding to the public is the most important thing, and people will back you if you're doing that. But also, people, that they get frustrated by annoying music issues. If the noise isn't loud enough, if the quality isn't good enough, if the video cutting is poor, people don't have enough time to suffer through their YouTube viewing. They want to actually enjoy the experience, and therefore you really need to bring that value. And then secondly, the content itself one thing that I've learned is that you can't just talk about your own areas of interest. You really need to follow what the audience wants and to invest the time in your community. So if people are putting up interesting comments, you need to respond to those comments and really take feedback on board to improve the programming. It can't just be like an ego exercise where you're doing everything that you want and then you just expect that everyone will be so enamored by what you have to say and what you're thinking that they'll just join. No. You have to work out what the audience is after and meet them, halfway to say, okay, well, this is the stuff that I want to talk about. This is the stuff that you want to talk about. And this is where we can add value to one another and make it a conversation. I think that's a really interesting aspect of the platform. One big change with, television broadcasting and radio broadcasting in the past is you would just turn it on. You would sit there as a sort of zombie and take it all in, and then you would wait for the next episode. And if you might put in some letters to the editor or something like that if you wanted to give feedback or a review, but you didn't have an ongoing relationship with your presenter, right? Whereas in creating a YouTube channel, you are creating a community and you do build relationships. And I have very much enjoyed my conversations and interactions with people who have commented and subscribed and sent me letters and commented on the e-newsletters and the Facebook pages about this. And I feel like I've just opened up the social circle quite a bit that you're connecting with people. And then also the niches that the YouTube is after. So I've learned a lot about the way YouTube sort of works. YouTube has certain interests that it pushes. Like all this stuff is done through basically a computer AI algorithm that YouTube sort of does. No, you're dealing with a computer when you're dealing with YouTube. And YouTube wants to sell as much product as possible. They want to have as many eyeballs on YouTube as possible, spending more time. They want to be able to have as much advertising revenue as possible. And so the way it promotes videos is based on things that maximize that possibility. So channels that have niche followings where you'll get people coming back again and again, channels that regularly upload, so they have a high level of content. So if you have a large number of subscribers, then you will have people watching each and every episode. So if you've got a channel that releases one fantastic video a year, well, it's not going to be of much interest for YouTube to promote that channel because there's not going to be much revenue in it. Whereas if you've got someone who has significantly fewer followers but still enough, and that person is uploading, every day, then of course YouTube has every reason to promote that channel because it will be able to get more advertising. So there is a relationship in YouTube between creator, viewer, and advertiser, and that interlocking relationship is something that isn't a surprise to me, but not something that I was familiar with before I started the channel. So interesting experience with that to see what is popular, what isn't, what YouTube wants to promote, what YouTube tries to suppress. And so far we haven't really been playing to that. But one thing we have developed over time and much to my great delight, because it's in no way different from my interest, is the Lithuanian audience that we're cultivating at the moment. So I would say at least half of our subscribers are from Lithuania, this one country very far away from Australia, because I enjoy talking about Lithuania. It's a country that I deeply love and have an affection for and understand quite a bit, I guess, at least as much as a foreigner can. And I want to keep creating Lithuanian content, and I think YouTube really likes that. That you have this segment of the YouTube viewing public who don't have foreigners talking about their country that much. And not only do I think that that's an issue for YouTube, I think that's an issue for the world. I think Lithuania definitely does need to have an elevated status based on its historical contribution to our culture and way of life. And its modern importance in the context of significant geopolitical tensions that happen in the Baltic region. So I'm very delighted that YouTube is, let's say, encouraging me to create more content, and that's why we're going to make Lithuania a permanent fixture of our programming, and hopefully we can continue to build a community with my Lithuanian friends who watch this. So thank you very much for tuning in. Other things I've learned: nothing happens easy. I've got a couple of people now who work on this quite a bit. So Charlene, obviously visually, she does the week in review. She does the video editing, puts the annoying little sort of displays in our things that I may or may not like, such as me chasing after goats on my trip when I'm trying to talk about how rugged and amazing my rural adventures were. But I also have another friend overseas who does a lot of the research work, who when we're preparing for our programs, because we're trying to aim for like 5 programs a week, 4 individual segments and then a week in review, that requires a lot of facts and information to be readily available on hand. I work full time outside of this program, so it's a matter of making sure that I have enough time to digest all of the facts, make sure my information is current and useful, as well as organize my own thoughts to make sure I'm adding value to the audience. And I just don't have time to do all of that. So I've got some very, very effective research support to assist with that. So hopefully you'll see that the content just continues to improve over time. And our ultimate goal with Dangerous Policy is not just to be a YouTube channel, but to be a broader think tank that we can, offer courses, we can make contributions to various policy discussions. And to that end, we're putting in our first parliamentary submission on the Australian Foreign Relations Bill as Dangerous Policy. That will be going to the Australian Parliament in the next couple of weeks, and we'll keep you posted on that. And just, an astonishing milestone in terms of how quickly this has happened. I did not believe for a moment that 3 months in we would already be at what is a significant mark. It may not sound like a lot for people who are watching channels with millions of subscribers, but in terms of the journey of an individual creator, it is a significant milestone because it does demonstrate to YouTube that a significant number of people who are watching this are getting value out of it and think that it should be continue to be supported. So, more milestones on that journey to come, but I could not be more proud, more ecstatic, and more grateful to you guys for tuning in, given where we are today. So thank you so much. I've ranted on this for a while, and I apologize if you tuned in thinking that you're going to get, normal, regular content. But please take this moment to accept my thanks, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks again. Bye.